It's Friday Farm Vlog, and the incubator chicks that hatched are now in the brooder, and there's 28 chicks. I can't believe we actually had 28 chicks hatch out of all of those winter eggs that were out in the freezing cold, and we lost so many of them early on in incubation just because the winter weather is so detrimental to these fragile eggs. But to have 28 beautiful chicks come out of these eggs, I'm just so excited. I had one chickie baby that had trouble hatching, and last Friday Farm Vlog I was talking about how I was debating about whether to help it out or not, and this chickie baby really needed the help. Its feathers were already drying, the membrane was dried to the feathers, and it had been really struggling to get out and had done most of the unzipping but just could not get out because when that membrane dries, like, it's glued to the feathers at that point. And so I was able to help this chickie baby by using a wet paper towel with warm water that was warm to my wrist. I wiped it over the dried out membrane, and since the chick was already mostly unzipped, I could just moisten the areas that were dried, and that helped the chick with hatching. And the chick was able to get out of most of the shell. The bottom part of the shell stayed on for quite a few hours after. I wasn't sure if it appeared like the yolk had been fully absorbed, meaning that chick was actually ready to hatch. However, I didn't want to help take off the bottom half of the shell. I wanted the chick to be able to do that on its own, and it did, and I'm so happy. But then, of course, I wasn't sure, is this chick going to be okay? Does it have an issue? Is that why it was struggling to hatch? Is it not as strong as the others? Is it weaker or smaller? And I kept this chick in the incubator with another chick for several days after the incubation because I was worried about how it was going to do. It definitely was weaker than the other chicks. So the chick is in with the group. I'm going to show you, see if you can pick out this chick. Now keep in mind, I just cleaned this brooder an hour ago, and so it's already messy because that's what chicks do. Hard to tell, right? That's because the chick had eggshell stuck to its back and its head and on its wings, and after a few days of the chick being in the incubator, I was supplementing food and water in the incubator with that chick and another one to make sure they were getting the nutrients they needed, but I didn't want them to get picked on. I would occasionally put them in with these chicks in the brooder for socialization and playtime, and the other chicks would be picking at the eggshells trying to help the chick out and get it off, but it hurts when it's glued on like that. So once I knew the chick was no longer weak, was up and about, eating and drinking well in the incubator, then I gave the chick a bath, and honestly the chick actually seemed to enjoy the bath, and I was able to easily get the dried membrane off of its wings, its back. I didn't get all of it off the head though. I didn't want to get any water in the chick's eyes and nose, and so I just gently wiped a little bit, but it's so that's the only way I can tell. It's still got just the tiniest little amount of membrane on the top of the head. It's just like a darker little gray area, so tiny at this point. But that's the only way I can pick out this little chickie baby, because otherwise it's doing great, really healthy, and having fun with all its brothers and sisters in the brooder. Hi little baby, hello. It's such a cutie, yes. So I'm so glad I was able to help it hatch and that it was able to survive. Now you may have noticed that there was one chick in there that didn't look like it was doing as well as the rest of the chicks. So this chick was the second chick that I had left in the incubator with our little friend here, and that chick hatched on its own, but early on had its head tilted and would do somersaults. So this chick, I was worried because it seemed neurologic, but that could be a vitamin deficiency, and so I was giving poultry Nutri-Drench daily to this chick, just little drops directly in the mouth. And I have noticed an improvement with this chick, but we're not 100% yet. But I didn't want to leave it in the incubator by itself, so I moved it with our other chick in here in the brooder, and it's been going okay so far. I've just been monitoring the situation just to make sure that no one's gonna pick on our two little friends. And I've noticed being in the brooder, the chick is doing a lot less flipping than it was doing in the incubator. It's got its friends to huddle up with and cuddle up, and I think that the flock support is very helpful for a chick just to feel surrounded and not isolated. And of course the vitamins daily, getting free choice food and water. I do have the little pebbles in the water dish to make sure that if this chick flips in there and gets stuck, it's not going to drown because it has those little pebbles. That I think is really important for young chicks and for chicks with vitamin deficiencies. So this is the chick that is having issues. And at times he seems perfectly fine. He walks around, he eats, he drinks okay, and then all of a sudden he'll have a neurologic episode where he'll start flipping. And so I'm trying to keep his stress down low, and I have to be careful when I pick him up, because usually when picking him up to give him vitamins or to transfer him, the flipping starts. And I wouldn't want him to fall. But most of the time he's got his head tucked like this. But he seems to be regaining more control now. And I'm really hopeful that this baby will make a full recovery. Yeah. But I'm happy with the improvement so far. I know. Okay, I'm gonna put you back with your friends. Okay, you can hop down. He doesn't want to get off my hands. Here you go. And I'm finding that the chicks, the older they get, the more they want to interact with me and stand on my hands and go through my hand as a tunnel and through my fingers and play with my fingernails, and we do some little games tapping on the ground. They're just way more interactive after the first week. And it's so fun. So this brooder is full with the 28 chicks. The other two brooders are more manageable with the shipped chicks that we got in, so I'll show them to you. So in this brooder over here, we have our Buff Orpington Bantams. Hi babies, you guys warming up? So they're sitting on their little heating pad right now with their heat lamp above them. And they have their heat cave underneath that one just came out of. Hi babies! And so these babies were shipped in from Cackle Hatchery. We did lose a few of them to stress, unfortunately. Shipping is pretty stressful. But these cutie pies seem to be doing pretty good now. Last week they were all having issues with pasty butt, but that has no longer been an issue the past few days, thankfully. They're settling in nice, and they're so much more curious and playful now. We definitely got some roosters in here, though. The way that they have been already posturing and bumping their chests up against each other and puffing up. They're practicing early. Okay, and then the next brooder, we have our Buff Brahma Bantams and our Buff Orpington Bantams from Valley Hatchery. So the Buff Brahma Bantams have the darker colors, and their feathers are so cool how they're coming in. And just in a week they've already changed so much and developed so much feathering. You can just see it quite a bit more in their wings as well as their little feathered feet. Now thankfully these shipped okay from Valley Hatchery. We haven't had any losses with this group, and we do have more from Valley Hatchery than we got from Cackle Hatchery. Not sure if that made a difference with their temperature inside the box or just their shipment experience was different. I'm not sure, but thankfully these babies are doing good. Okay. So this is the Buff Orpington Bantam. So this is going to be a little mini Buff Orpington. So I compared one of these little mini Buff Orpingtons to my standard size Buff Orpington chicks that just came out of the incubator. And while there's just over a week age difference between them, you can already see the difference in size. These little minis have smaller feet, smaller head, smaller wings, smaller tail. Everything's just smaller on these little bantam chicks. But as far as coloring and beak color, leg color, everything looks the same. They just are miniature versions, but they're very sweet, very gentle, very docile. So cute. Okay, we're gonna go back, okay? And then this little darling is the Buff Brahma Bantam. So we're gonna have another little miniature chicken breed, and I cannot believe the feathers on these feet. They're already growing so quickly, and I'm curious to see how big these little miniature versions are gonna get, because standard Buff Brahmas are pretty big chickens, so we'll see. This is gonna be a fun experience. I know, you're so cute. And the beak is so cool with the orange and then the black and then the gold. Just really, really pretty coloring. Show them. Show them your pretty wings. So cute. Yeah, you can go back with your friends, okay? I know. I know. Scary, huh? Now in a few more days, I do expect to fire up the incubators again and fill out all 3 of them. I have been collecting hatching eggs. It's been a little slower gathering these hatching eggs because I have 2 hens that have decided to go broody and they are hoarding eggs. So that little nesting spot that I was telling you about in the buck pen, that I found a nest of eggs, well, I had a hen decide that she wanted to take over that spot. And the pullets have been going in and giving her eggs, and she's been sitting on them for 5 days now. And we'll see. I mean, I've just learned from this last hatch that winter eggs don't hatch well. And so I don't know if she'll even be able to hatch any of these eggs with the cold weather. We are in spring though, so it is the time for hens to go broody. So I will be so excited if she hatches out some chicks. That'll be awesome. And then our second broody hen is actually broody in one of our designated nesting boxes. She's had hens going and giving her eggs as well, dropping off their eggs, and she's been sitting on them. So, oh my gosh, I love when we have broody hens. They are so cute taking care of their babies. And Buff Orpingtons are known as a breed that goes broody, but at most I've only ever had 2 broody hens a year. And so to have 2 already early spring, we could have a record year for broody hens if more decide to go broody in the summer too. So we'll see. But I want to show you the gorgeous eggs I've been saving. So we've got 18. Plus another 18, plus 16. Now ideally, I want 22 per incubator for a total of 66 eggs. But I always save more than what I need for the incubator because when I candle them, I'm only going to take the best eggs, quality eggs, and put them into the incubator. So I have to save up more. So let's hope these 2 broody mamas don't take all the eggs. I've been getting a few in other nesting boxes and other nesting spots, and so I've been adding those in. And I can't wait to start incubating these so I can watch the little embryos grow. And I told you last week that my husband and I were working on our bathroom. It's not finished yet, but it's almost there. We did an acrylic epoxy on our shower to make it look shiny and brand new, and that takes 3 days to cure, so it's got another day of curing, and then we can do the final decorations with our new shower curtain and the upgraded fixtures that we're putting in the shower and all that fun. So this is what it looked like before, and this is what the paint job looks like now, and then our shower before and our shower now. And then once that's cured and we get it all set up, I'll show you the pictures next Friday on what it looks like when it's all completed. I love before and afters. To see all the hard work that went into it and then how good it looks after. But I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. I actually have to go cut some soap that I made for Soaping Sunday. So definitely check back on Sunday to see the new soap that I made and how it turns out. I'm excited to see what the inside looks like. And if you haven't started your farm yet, what are you waiting for? Get your farm on. Bye.
One, two, three, four. Do you want a farm? A wicked awesome farm? Watch this channel to learn what to do. We love to farm.